Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Daryl and Boo's weekly update. Daryl, how was your weekend?
Yeah, the weekend was nice. Seemingly, spring is upon us. Well, Saturday wasn't all that nice, so timing was good. We've got some renos scheduled to be happening on our house coming up towards the end of the week, so I had to do a little prep work for that on Saturday. And then, Sunday was yesterday was just gorgeous. So we were kind of out and enjoying the sunshine all day long, kind of checked out a few different spots down in Gastown, a few different patios, and yeah, just kind of enjoyed it. And it looks like we've got almost summer-like weather coming up here this week, which is pretty awesome. How about yourself?
Yeah, tried to get out a little bit to enjoy the weather. Now I am, maybe it sounds like I'm always working on stuff on the house more and more these days. So I've been tasked with doing crown molding upstairs in the house. I have a stair, the staircase we have goes up and turns around and then goes up again to get to the second floor. And what that does is that creates a point in the wall where it's basically like 20 feet up or something that I have to paint, or well, my wife painted that, but have to get crown moldings up to the top of that. So we were renting scaffolding for that. And I've had that from Home Depot for 2 weeks. Just returned it yesterday morning, but I initially rented it for 1 week, and I was like, we should get this done in 1 week. And 1 week turned into 2 weeks and a day. And they called me kind of halfway through my extension there, and they're like, when are we getting this back? Like, okay, well, let's aim for Saturday. And Saturday turned into Sunday, but that's okay. I got just that section done, and then we'll finish off the crown molding, and then there's already more tasks in the queue to wrap up. But that's okay. Got the crown molding going. It's you almost have to be a math genius to do all the geometry for crown molding, but we got her done. Would love training on that, and that is my segue into some training that will be happening with F5. And actually, before I even mention that, one thing I do want to mention. There's an F5 agility that's coming up. Everybody should be signing up for that if you're an F5 user. Something else everyone should be signing up for, though, is before we get into agility, is B-Sides Vancouver. So May 9th through 14th, I got my B-Sides 2020 hoodie on right now. But they, this is coming from last year. Where that got pushed out, and you'll see F5 proudly displayed as a silver sponsor for that. So
yeah, great event. I mean, the B-Sides tend to be all good, but I think in particular BC here or Vancouver is it's been strong for quite a few years, and it just gets better and better.
Totally. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they put on. I know they've been working hard on trying to perfect the virtual experience, and that was really important to the guys. and girls. And so, yeah, looking forward to seeing what they do. Now, speaking of virtual experience, and what we put into it from an F5 perspective is F5 Agility, which is virtual again this year. Two folks that I wanted to bring on this week, though, are John and Jason to come chat about F5 Agility. How's it going, guys?
Fantastic.
Boo, it could not be going any better.
Great to have you guys on. It's
yeah,
it's hard to get you guys on. I called your booking agent multiple times. Just got, I was being diverted away from you guys. Said you guys were way too busy. There's a queue to get you guys on any sort of show, and your booking fee was really high. But I found the internal expense code, and so I'm sure my manager will approve it. And you guys are on
Silva
here.
Throwing you shade?
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Yeah, no, yeah. Well, one of these weeks we got to get Pete Silva on here to sing us a song too.
That's right.
There you go.
Yeah. So we've got F5 Agility coming up. You guys are a big part of this. F5 Agility is where F5's community comes together. Now, one thing that I noted here, if you look at speakers, we've got these guys up here. They're great. You scroll down a little bit more. And look at this. We got John Wagnon as a speaker for F5 Agility, taking the virtual stage.
I tell you what, I don't know how that slipped through the cracks, Boo, but we were able to hack into the back end system apparently and just pop that up there. So no, but hey, maybe quick shameless plug on that. It's actually going to be a pretty fascinating thing. I'm going to be talking to a couple of guys from the Silverline Security Operations Center, the Silverline SOC, and they have basically pulled together some really fascinating attack stories that they have been a part of over the years with the Silverline SOC. So, how did these attacks happen and what did we do to mitigate these? How can you as the end user or the viewer take something away from this? And, but I just find it fascinating to go through the actual attack stories, but that's going to be what it is for like 45 minutes. So it should be pretty cool.
Yeah, that is very cool. I don't know if we've ever had anybody from our SOC team do public speaking at an event or anything like that. So yeah, pretty cool. Those are pretty smart guys, and as you said, they see all the stuff. So that should be super interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's when stuff like that gets real. Like Daryl and I have conversations with customers, and it's all well and good. Some of the stuff that we deal with. Web app firewall type stuff, it makes it a lot more real when you can actually say, this is how something happened, and this is how it was dealt with. And especially from the SOC guys, those are the guys that deal with it day in and day out. So that's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I also noted, so we've got a cool keynote speaker as well, Brian Krebs, which should be pretty interesting. He's always an interesting guy to hear from.
Mm-hmm.
Should be a fun one.
Speaking of difficult guys to get time with, he's definitely up there on the list.
Yeah. Now, John and Jason, you guys have some DevCentral specific stuff that you guys are doing as well?
We do. We're bringing the DevCentral Connects experience to Agility. So we normally have our show every Thursday, 12:30 Pacific. But next week, or it's next week, right? During Agility, there's no YouTube, LinkedIn experience. It's all going to be within the Agility platform. So, if you want to come join us, and the great thing is, I think we're going to do Zoom, like the Zoom webinar experience, rather than the typical platform streaming. So there will be opportunity to see face to face with the people that are there, which in the YouTube experience and all that, we're just kind of staring at the camera, but at Agility, we'll actually be face to face with people, which would be a lot of fun to take that engagement level. It'll up level it quite a bit. So we have 4 shows we're doing during Agility. On the 20th, we're 3 Pacific. The 21st, we're doing 2. We're doing 3 p.m. Pacific, and then we're doing a 7 p.m. Pacific to catch the Asia area audience. And then on the 22nd, we'll wrap up the Agility week with 2 p.m. Pacific. So
That's
we're looking
awesome.
forward to it. We did this last year. So last year's Agility was the first virtual experience because of COVID and all that. And hopefully this is our last virtual experience. I really miss being in person for Agilities and meeting with customers and partners and vendors who, share interest in our technology and help supplement our technology in areas. So I just really love the in-person engagement, but last year, the virtual engagement was pretty cool during Agility. So I'm looking forward to that again.
Yeah, very cool. You guys are always like the celebrities at Agility as well.
Yep.
Like you guys get your own stage and people come up to you guys, ask for autographs and whatnot and pictures. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing, right? Because it's like I struggle with imposter syndrome real bad most of the time, and so it's like, when does anybody want a picture of me? I don't know anything, but it's a lot of it's pretty weird.
Jason, don't say you don't know anything. You know how to write backwards on a light board screen, right?
This is true. This is true. I honed that skill over months.
Yes.
Yeah, is there a blooper reel of light boards that are actually backwards, where you just wrote it the wrong way?
Oh, whoops! Yeah, yeah. The wrong side of my brain is engaged right now. So, yep. No, there could be many blooper reels off of that, Boo. I just think we choose not to, keep that footage. We just delete that part. So yeah.
Yeah, too much.
If you saw how many like High School Musical we're like doing in between takes to get our mouth working right.
Yeah.
Yep. Very cool. Those are some of the most popular videos on your YouTube site, if I recall. Though, if I looked at the stats, I think those ones were getting the most amount of views. So I think people are finding them pretty helpful.
Yeah, they've certainly been helpful. I mean, I think it's nice for people to they're kind of digestible chunks of the Lightboard lessons. They're 5 to 7, maybe 8 minutes. Sometimes I've got a couple on there. Admittedly, I get a little long-winded. Maybe they're 12 to 13 minutes.
You get a little long-winded, John?
Wagnon can't stop talking. What? So anyway, but I think I've heard from people just say, hey, I'm sitting on a bus, riding into work, or I'm on a train, or I'm in the airport waiting to get on, and just, hey, it's 5 minutes. I learned how to do a little thing, or so yeah, they've been nice and helpful. So we'll keep them coming, and keep the ideas flowing. So we always love to hear from people, with great ideas, and then we'll put it in the queue and try to get it recorded.
Nice.
What we need to really film is I don't know if it's Kimmel or Fallon that does the mean tweets.
Yeah.
But it's like we just need to like film us talking about all our mean comments we get on the videos.
Yeah.
I think that would be highly entertaining.
You get some feedback that is not positive.
It's not always positive. No, in fact, my favorite one I got from somebody is like, you should stop teaching like now, like put the marker down now. Don't teach anybody. Just go away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the YouTube trolls are real for sure. Now, to be fair, there's some great comments too. The ones that I love, the comments I love probably the most are the genuinely, interest, like people that are interested, like, hey, you mentioned this stuff, this technology or this thing, but I didn't quite understand, this and this and that. So it turns into a good conversation, and but certainly there are some that are just like, hey, you're an idiot. And then that's it. And it's like, okay, I get it, but I can't do anything with that. Like, help me, help me understand how much of an idiot I am, and help me understand how I can not be an idiot anymore. Right. Or whatever.
Well, I even I had a GTM video, and I got a comment, and it wasn't public. It was a comment from somebody internal to F5, and they sent me, it's like, you are very wrong, all in comments on a video I had done. It's like, well, I guess I could be, because he's in support and he does this all the time. So I went back and tested. It's like, no, this is exactly what I said, and this is exactly how it behaves. So, but you get those comments sometimes. You're like, oh man, maybe I messed up. But,
right, yeah.
And sometimes honestly, we'll make a flub or something when we're saying, so we'll add a comment or something to the video, because I mean the expense and the time and all that to go back and shoot it for one little mistake, I don't think is very necessary.
Right. And there's always the fear that it's like, all right, I'm going to go back and reshoot it to correct that mistake, and then I just said it
5 others.
Right.
It's like that. I have a T-shirt. It's like 99 little bugs in the code. 99 little bugs. You take it around, patch it around. 117 bugs in the code.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when it comes to, and you know what I've maybe realized now, doing all the live streaming stuff and the podcast stuff and the mailing list stuff on here, like it's all about fostering your community and people that connect with you, and the people that might be leaving mean tweets or mean comments are probably not part of your community or your focus. Maybe they're on the fringe and maybe you can convince them, but some of them are just way out there, so you can't really convince them at this point. But doing user groups and kind of transitioning it to this, I think that's one of the things that I understood is the people that would come to our user group wanted to be there. Like, we didn't have anybody there that came in there with their hands crossed and we're like, this is a total waste of time. Like, those people just don't show up. And so the internet just allows for people to show up, leave mean comments, but you wouldn't normally get that. That's not really your community. So I don't, I don't think we can really take those kind of comments to heart because they're just not part of what you're about.
Yeah. No. Yeah. And I mean, to be fair, those are few and far between. I mean, they're the vast majority is either, hey, thanks for the video, or hey, I've got a genuine question and let's have a good, meaningful conversation. But it's
and we had one last week. I think it was last week. Could have been 2 weeks ago. It was like, hey, thank you. I watched all your videos on YouTube and I actually got hired at, I don't think it was F5 they got hired at, and I don't even think it's F5 technology they're using. Yeah, but just from the experience of taking in the light boards and stuff, that they got knowledge they didn't have, and they were able to secure a job somewhere. So that's pretty cool. I like seeing those kind of comments.
Yeah.
We must have hired folks off of DevCentral before, right? I think there was the guy that developed the backup script.
You hired this one over. I don't know if that's really? My finger's pointing in the right direction. Yeah. Jason Rahm was one of them. He won the very first iRules contest on DevCentral. And then the powers that be on DevCentral were like, wait a minute, bingo, we need this guy. We need him on our team.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's awesome.
I was super stoked to join the team. And it's been 12 and a half years now and still going strong. And it's like you'd have to pull me off the DevCentral team, for my cold, dead hands, right?
Pry my dead, cold fingers. Right.
Do you remember what you won, Jason, with that? Was it something?
I did, yeah. It was 3 $500 Amex cards. Which incidentally in my area were really hard to spend because nobody accepted American Express around here. I think I ended up just buying groceries with them, because in the early years it was a little slim. I think I had 2 kids when I started here. No, I had all 4 of my kids already when I started here, but I guess as a customer, I was probably three kids in already. So, not making a whole lot of money, but enjoying life. And so, groceries with my iRule winnings. So.
Wow. And John, did you get hired from your comments left on DevCentral or anything like that?
Yeah, I talked to the mean people from YouTube, and then they put in a word, for me to get hired. No, actually, just quick story there. Jason and I had known each other. Actually, our wives kind of knew each other. And we knew each other not really closely, but we didn't live that far away from each other. And he contacted me, and there was an opening on the DevCentral team, and said, hey, what do you think? And I was like, well, I really enjoyed the job I had at the time. But I was like, this sounds like a really cool thing. So, man, the rest is history. I'm glad that's been right at 8 years ago. In fact, what is today? Today's the 12th. Tomorrow is my 8-year anniversary. So it's gone by like that fast. Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
It's crazy. It's gone by that fast. Yeah. I remember the interview time that you came out because we went skiing when you came out for your interview. So that was a lot of fun.
Out to Seattle, went to Snoqualmie and got to snow ski. I was like, this is a pretty amazing situation here. The job is good and we get to snow ski. And so, yes.
Yeah. I got to see me pole vault off of my chest over.
Really?
Yeah. That was crazy.
That was tons of fun.
Yeah, DevCentral's been. Boo and I started coming up on 10 years. We're going to have our 10-year anniversary show here sometime in the fall.
Awesome.
But I remember at the time, I didn't know a ton about F5 when I started, but quickly learned about DevCentral and just how passionate and how big and how passionate of a community that we had with DevCentral. And 10 years later, the fact that it's still, even stronger than it was when we started. It's pretty cool as a company for doing the roles that we do out in front of customers to have that access to DevCentral, or having our customers have access to DevCentral more appropriately is it's a nice thing to have. So kudos to you guys for all your hard work.
It was I felt it was so unique at the time. Like I would read Lori McVitie's stuff posted on DevCentral, and she was like, there's like a handful of, I don't know what you call them, but like just forefront leaders that were putting out opinions out on the internet for technology. Mm-hmm. And, Lori was one of them. Before I ever considered working at F5 or anything like that, I was reading all of her stuff. And I remember Peter Silver's videos where he was going to conferences and kind of giving a tour of, hey, here's how to get to the F5 booth on here. And I was just shocked that people even had videos of doing stuff, let alone like at a conference. Normally you don't get a tour or get an idea of like what a trade show looks like in the technology field. But, we were doing all that kind of stuff really, really early on. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I especially like Lori. I actually followed Lori before she was even at F5.
Really?
I think it was network computing or something that she and Don were both writers for network computing or something like that. But that particular magazine, I always loved. They had the centerfold of the magazine was, some kind of a network diagram of some company that had shared how their infrastructure looked. And so it was always cool to study somebody else's architecture and how they built things. But, in that, she and Don also, had very insightful articles. She did a lot of testing of products and stuff. So I was a fan even before she started writing for F5. So when she came to F5, I was like, wow, that's a huge win for F5. And, she's awesome.
Yeah, she is. Her obviously very bright, but just the way that she delivers stuff is pretty cool. It's very entertaining.
Yeah. I'm just going to roll through a couple comments here. We got Bob Oldfield, my father-in-law, commented. Maybe we can have him on sometime and give some guitar lessons for us. And then Sebastian, recent DevCentral MVP. You guys awarded him as well, right?
Yep.
He's actually joining us, I think, in May, right, John? We're going to do some GitOps stuff.
Yeah. So kind of coming out of the agility stuff. But yeah, he's going to join us, I think, in like 2 or 3 weeks on the DevCentral Connect show. So yeah, Sebastian, looking forward to having you on again. He said this will be a repeat. He did a lot of Ansible automation stuff with how to update big IPs and all that. Coming out of the wake of that 5902 vulnerability, where we said, hey, you need to update. You need to update or upgrade, right? And then Sebastian's like, no problem. I got Ansible and I can do tons of it. Just let me click a button, right?
That's right.
So awesome.
Sebastian's not only an F5 all-star, he does have he's got a lot of skills in a lot of different things. He always seems to be on the cutting edge of what's kind of new out there. So great guy to have in the community. Done a lot of work for our customers out here too.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yep.
All right. So we got a few minutes left here. And we usually go through the recent news just to keep people up to date. And one of the recent things that I saw here, speaking of upgrades, is this Optimus Prime toy. This is sold out. I don't know if you guys have seen this.
Nope.
This is sold out at this point. $700 US. This is an updated Optimus Prime. When I was a kid, this was like the ultimate toy. I never got one, but I had some friends with them, and this was like the toy to have. The updated version of this that is $700 now is voice controlled, and actually, let me find it here. It will transform itself now.
Oh, that's what I was wondering, Boo. Like it just does itself.
Wow.
And then watch the head pop up.
Boom.
That's awesome.
That's pretty awesome. I don't know that that's $700 awesome, because I'm just thinking in the hands of my toddler, that would be $700 of parts within a day.
That would transform once or twice, and then that would be it.
Yeah. But that's really cool. I mentor a robotics team, and I'm just thinking through,
Nice.
all of the mechanical design, let alone the software, just the mechanical design to make all of that happen. And my mind's just kind of like, because that's there's a lot going on there mechanically to make that possible.
There's, as you would expect with any toy, recent toy, there's an app that goes along with it.
Of course.
So you can control it from there, and you can give it the command, roll out, and it moves.
Wow.
I never had Optimus Prime, but way back in the 80s, I got the six truck construction crew that became one. You could transform them into their own robots, but then you could also transform them all collectively into one big robot. And I didn't get it new because it was like $110 new, even way back in the 80s. And it was just my parents couldn't afford that, and I wasn't yet at a working age. But we were at a garage sale a couple years after it came out, and I think I got all six of them for like $6 or $10 or something like that. So it was a steal, and I was so excited.
Oh, that's awesome. One of the things I remember about these toys too was that just the act of pulling it apart and then collapsing it back together was like a puzzle in itself, especially for me, because I didn't own any. So I'm like playing with my friends' toys, and I just remember like there's so many like specific movements that you have to do to even collapse the thing all together. Now it just moves on its own.
Super cool. So that's available right now, Boo. You can go out and
pre-order, although it's sold out.
Okay.
Pre-order is sold out. Yeah,
goodness, that's awesome.
Ships in October.
October.
So, yeah.
Wow.
So
you can pre-order it now. It's not available yet, and the pre-order is sold out. That's crazy.
The pre-order is sold out. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe they have limited parts because it was on a container ship or something that got stuck.
Maybe.
Yeah, stuck in the Suez Canal somewhere. Right. Yeah.
So lately we've been talking about NFTs here on this show, and interesting stuff that you can buy with NFTs or as an NFT. This tweet, if you guys recall from the Fire Festival, did you guys ever watch those that documentary?
I don't think I did. No.
It's a pretty that documentary on itself. It's basically they hyped up this big music festival like a few years ago, got all these celebrities to hype it up and made all this media around it. And then when it came down to actual execution of the festival, it's just a complete nightmare. Like none of the stuff that they promised was actually happening. They were saying jets are going to fly you in and you're going to have all these fantastic meals and it's super luxurious and stuff. And they had Kardashians that were tweeting about it. And then they go to the festival and it's not as advertised whatsoever. And then this is like one of the meals that they were given at the festival. And this itself was pretty famous. And so this as an NFT is going to be auctioned off, and the guy is hoping to raise $80,000 for this NFT. So people will buy almost anything if you turn it into an NFT. Eventually, we will have these episodes of the Daryl and Boo Show as NFTs.
Yeah, we're going to be rich beyond our wildest dreams, guys.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, then, Boo, maybe after all, they promised very expensive dinners. And, as this has come full circle, this is a very expensive dinner, as it turns out.
Yeah. I think when I travel to Seattle, that is a very expensive dinner. They put just a little tiny bit of food on the plate and then charge you like $40.
Yeah, that's right.
And then just kind of along those lines, Ja Rule sold a painting of the Fire Festival logo for $122,000, and that's already transacted. So yeah, stuff going out there as NFTs.
Wow. I just don't get the whole NFT craze. I'm like, that just seems a whole lot like smoke and mirrors, and that's just going to be not a wise investment.
Yeah, some of these are going pretty inflated.
Man.
Cool. Alrighty, guys. That's 9:30 for us, all over in Pacific time here. So thank you very much, guys, for coming on. We're looking forward to Agility and looking forward to seeing you guys there, and I'll be there as well. So should be a fun time.
Yeah,
Awesome.
always a pleasure.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
Good to see you both.
Okay, see you guys.